Hey guys, it's Suna, back with another Runeterra deck guide. So today we are covering the Quinn Missfortune or Missfortune Quinn deck. This deck is a very aggressive, damage orientated deck. So if you quite like the damage orientated aggressive deck, this deck might actually be for you. So let's dive in. Again, we'll be covering every single card in detail. And yeah, this is a really fun card. Really fun card, really fun combo to use. So just give it a go. It's really good. Cool. So this deck actually has so many different types of win condition. You can actually like mold your hand and your board to the actual win condition that you need. And yeah, it's got so many different ways. It's not just like one way like the Karma decks where you actually want to get to a lighten and that's basically your win condition. There's so many different ways in this one. One way is basically, and let's try and explain the main focus of the deck. So the main focus is obviously Missfortune and Quinn. Let's cover Missfortune first. So these are the two champions in your deck. Missfortune is a 3-cost unit, a 3-cost champion with 3/3. But what makes Missfortune really good is her ability. So her ability is when Missfortune is on the board, so it doesn't have to be attacking, it can just be on the bench at the back. If it's on the board, if you attack in that round, you deal 1 to all battling enemies first, and also 1 to the enemy nexus. You do all that first before your battle resolves. So imagine you're fighting against a spider deck, and spiders most of the time only have like 1 HP per spider. Because you've got a Missfortune on board, this ability is going to activate first. It's going to kill all the spiders first, and then the attack resolves. So this is super powerful. Missfortune levels up when you attack 4 times essentially. And a level up Missfortune is even more insane. The level up Missfortune it's got 4/4, it's got the overwhelm tag, but that's not really what you're after. What you're after is this ability. This ability is when you attack, you deal 1 3 times to battling enemies and the enemy nexus. That is insane. How much damage you can actually get hit on the enemies and also the nexus. So this is a really good card to you'll be attacking so many times that actually Missfortune is going to level up so quickly. You're going to get a leveled up Missfortune and then even more attacks into the nexus and the opponents. So a really good skill to trigger. So how can you trigger Missfortune's abilities? So one of the criteria or strategies is using the Quinn. And there's actually a few more cards that does this, but Quinn is a good combo, just because Quinn has the scout ability as well. So if you don't know what scout ability is, if you attack with only scout, so when it's your turn to attack, if you use scouts first to attack, so anyone with the scouts tag, just scouts tag to attack, that doesn't actually use up your attack turn, your attack phase. So you actually get to attack twice in that turn. And think about it, if you attack twice, you activate Missfortune's ability twice during 1 round. So that's insane. So with Quinn, if you summon out a Quinn, Quinn will then summon out automatically a Valor. So Valor is just a 2/1 bird basically. But with 2/1, this Valor also has Scout, so you get to use that Scout strategy, and it's got the challenge attacks. You can actually pull in a lot of the enemy's backline and deal damage to them, maybe even kill them off, and you get to control the board a bit with Valor. So remember, this is using the scout ability to attack. That doesn't use your attack phase. So even when Quinn sees 4 times attack, similar to Missfortune, levels up into a bigger Quinn. So with this Quinn, every time you attack, you get a Valor. So it's quite. You can see the damage ramping up and the amount of Valors that you can actually pull out. So that's basically the champions, and that's the main aim of the deck, to try and attack as many times as you can. So if you bear that in mind, once we go through all of these cards, you'll see. So let's just cover up from the top. The first couple of cards are just quite generic. So a 1 cost 2/2. It's just there just to cover off the 1 cost units. But yeah, this is a decent card because for only 1 mana you get 2/2. Fleet. This is actually my more favorite 1 cost unit in this deck is the Fleet Feather Tracker. So with Fleet Feather Tracker, if you summon it out first, it doesn't have any tags, but if you then summon out another ally afterwards, whenever, as long as this is on the board first, then Fleet Feather Tracker will get the Challenger tag. So again, the Challenger tag allows you to pull enemy backlines or enemy units into battle so that you challenge them essentially. But why is that good? It's because you are pulling in a lot of enemies onto the board, because when you're attacking, remember Missfortune's ability triggers first, so you actually get to hit more. You get to hit one first. So imagine there's a spider on the board, just say, or an enemy with 1 health. You pull that in to the battlefield. Missfortune will kill that first, and your Fleetfarer tracker stays alive. So you're basically pulling in a lot of enemy units so that you can maximize your Missfortune skill. So that's the main aim of these challenge attacks in this deck. Jagged Butchers is quite good as well, because it's only a 1 cost. It's normally it's a 2/2 unit, but if you manage to trigger off Plunder, then you get a +1/+1. What Plunder is if you damage the enemy Nexus this round, and then you summon out Jagged Butcher, then you'll get this extra stats. So as long as you've damaged the Nexus and then you start summoning these units, you get this Plunder ability. You trigger it, so you get +1/+1. So that's actually a 1 mana for free. And you're going to be triggering Plunder a lot because of Missfortune's skill. So every time you attack, Missfortune is going to automatically hit 1 to the enemy Nexus. So that triggers your Plunder. And so therefore, if you attack and then you summon this out, this actually automatically becomes a free. Then we go on to Radiant Strike. There's only 1 of these in the deck, and to be honest, I really use this. I hardly even get to draw it because there's only 1 in the deck. But you get to give your allies +1/+1. So yeah, you can attack with it, you can defend with it. So it's quite a good one to have. So probably having 1 in your deck is makes sense. Ranger's Resolve, again another 1 in your deck. You give all your allies tough this round. So it's all your allies. I keep thinking this only gives 1, because it just says gives allies. Or maybe if it gives 1, it would say give ally, not allies. So yeah, so it gives tough to every single one of your allies. And tough basically gives you kind of like a shield, icon on your health. And so it basically lets you take 1 less damage from all sources, every single source. So if they're attacking you for say 2, you get to block 1 and you take 1 to your health. To be honest, I might change the deck up a bit. I might actually get rid of Radiant Strike and have an extra Ranger's Resolve instead. I prefer this card more than Radiant Strike, but that's just personal preference. Brightsteel Protector. Again, we're getting quite down the list, and this is still just a 2-cost card. But this deck actually has an opportunity to summon out quite a lot of units out and attack more. So Brightsteel Protector, every time you play this out, you get to give a barrier to an ally for that round. You get to protect some allies as you're attacking. So a good strategy is summon out some allies first, then summon out Brightsteel Protector, then use the barrier to protect someone, and then as you're attacking, maybe even protect, say, your Quinn, because it's attacking using the scout ability, so Quinn doesn't take any damage, and then you can attack again. But yeah, quite a really good card to have. Single combat, 2-cost mana spell, allows you to strike an enemy with one of your own allies. Yeah, it's really good. So sometimes you play that, maybe you're blocking and then you just want to kill off another unit just because you know that your allies are just going to die anyway, so you might as well just play a single combat. War Chief is this is my favorite 2-cost unit in this deck, because War Chief is 2 costs. It is already a 2/3, and if you have a War Chief on your attacking phase, it's got the support ability. So support ability is basically any unit to the right of War Chief will get this ability, will get the stats. Anyone to the right of War Chief will get +1/+1, +1 to their health, +1 to their attack. So that is really good because you can +1/+1 onto your units, and they will most likely, hopefully, survive that turn because of your extra 1 health. So it's or kill off that enemy because of that extra 1 damage. So it actually does add up. So it's quite good. And obviously, at the end of the round, you're going to lose this stats, and then you have to do it again next round. Loyal Badger Bear is just quite a generic card in the sense that it's really good value for 3 mana cost. It's a 4/4 for 3 mana cost. It's just a staple to have. It's so good. Missfortune we've covered. Grizzle Ranger is broken. Trust me, Grizzle Ranger is broken for a 4-cost card. Just for 4 costs. Okay, so let's cover this card first. For 4 mana cost, it's got the scout ability. So you can actually, if you've got this on the field and you say you got the Quinn out and you got the Valor, so you're attacking with Quinn, Valor, and Grizzle Ranger at the same time because of scout. So that doesn't use up your attack phase, remember. But What you can do with Grizzle Ranger, every time Grizzle Ranger dies, it doesn't matter, it's only got 1 health, it's going to die. But you actually get hit the enemy for 4 or their nexus for 4. Perfect. But every time this dies, you summon out a Loyal Badger Bear, which is that free cost unit, which is 4/4. So you essentially, for 4 mana cost, you have a 4/1, and then straight away you have a 4/4. You can't go wrong. Like, you summon out a Grizzle Ranger, use the scout ability to attack. They'll probably block because it's a 4 damage. Grizzle Ranger dies on that scout attack, and then you get a Loyal Badger Bear, and then you use the Loyal Badger Bear on your attack phase. It's a no-brainer. It's a really good card. Or you use the Badger Bear, the Grizzle Ranger, to block, dies, and then you get a Badger Bear to attack in your next turn. So yeah, both ways you win. So it's a really good card. Bannerman, Vanguard Bannerman is just obviously a staple to have in this deck, because every time you summon this out, if you're lucky, you get +1/+1 to all of your allies forever. It doesn't just disappear, it won't disappear, you'll get +1/+1. But you only get +1/+1 if, when you summon out Bannerman, the top card of your deck matches this region, which is the Demacia region. So most of these cards are Demacia, so most of the time you will trigger this, but there are times where I hope to trigger this and I don't, but it's not guaranteed. But most of the time, I would say about 80% of the time, you'll trigger this ability. So yeah, really good card. Imagine having all of your people on the board with +1/+1. Then maybe having another Bannerman, and then you having another +1/+1. So it really ramps up. You'll be buffing up your units, and then you'll be attacking a lot. Then you use Missfortune skill a lot. You see where this is going. Quinn, we've covered. Sifri of the Bold. There's another finisher would be Sifri of the Bold or Citrus Courier. So Sifri of the Bold is a 6 cost unit with really good stats, 6/6. It basically, if you use this to attack on your attacking phase, then you get to give all of your battling allies +1/+1. Again, you're trying to buff up your units and attack more, but in addition to that, you actually give them fearsome tags as well. So fearsome tag allows anyone on the opponent's bench that doesn't have 3 or more power, so 3 or more attack, can't block your units with fearsome tags. So yeah, really good finisher off, because you can, you might have a whole board of kind of like low attack power units, but because they all get +1/+1 and they get the fearsome, hopefully your opponents won't be able to block too many of them, and a lot of your attacks would start sinking in and start hitting their nexus. And then you're damaging their nexus, and then maybe you can even trigger plunder because you damage their nexus, and that leads us on to the final card. The Citrus Courier. This Courier, 6 mana cost card again, but only this time only 4/5, and I think it's justified to have 4/5 because of the abilities. So the ability only triggers if you have plunder. So if you do want to play this card, make sure that you have 6 mana after you finish attacking, then you play this card. Because what this card does is, if you trigger plunder and you've actually hurt their nexus that round, play this for 6 mana. It's got the rally tag, which allows you then to attack again, so you get to attack twice. So maybe you've attacked 3 times in that round. Maybe you've attacked with scouts first, that's 1. Then you attacked with your normal attack, that's 2. And then you summon out Citrus Courier, and then you get the rally, and then you attack another time. So that's 3 attacks in 1 round. Missfortune's abilities activates 3 times in 1 round. You can see the potential of these damages. And not only does it have rally after plunder, it also heals all of your allies back up by 3, and then also heals your nexus by 3. Wow, you can't really get better than that. And then obviously by the time you get the rally, let's just say you didn't do the scout attack and you only attacked normal, and then you did the rally, you could attack again. Yeah, this is really good. And if you somehow manage to, I don't know how you would do it, but if you somehow manage to damage the enemy's nexus on the enemy's attacking phase, to be honest, I don't think there is any cards here that would allow you to do that. But I don't know, maybe you swapped out some cards and you've managed to do that. If you summon out the Citrus Courier, you rally, so then you actually get to attack that turn as well. So yeah, keep that in mind if you've got that scenario pop up. That's basically the deck. So again, your win conditions are using Missfortune to trigger her skills a lot to clear out the board, so you can actually start attacking in. Quinn will allow you to use the scout abilities along with Grizzled Ranger to attack 2 times around. And then you'll be using a lot of these smaller cards to actually, you know, keep control of the board, keep attacking, keep the pressure on your enemy. You're going to be using like barriers to protect your more vulnerable units, and then using War Chief to buff up your attacking units even more, using Sifri of the Bold to give everyone +1/+1, and Fearsome to attack as well, using Bannerman to plus up your units, and then trying to finishing off everyone with a Citrus Courier by using the rally tag after you plundered, remember that, using the rally tag and attacking again and finishing them off most likely. Really fun deck. It's so I think it's quite well put together, quite a lot of, you know, different combos working together quite well. Doesn't just have one win condition, you've got multiple win conditions in here, and because a lot of these cards are quite low cost mana cards, you'll be summoning out a lot of units, or a lot of using some spells and stuff throughout the whole entire game, so it makes the game quite quick, quite fun, quite aggressive, quite damage orientated. So if you're after this kind of style of a deck, this deck might be for you, so give it a go. I mean, a lot of these cards aren't that hard to craft. Obviously we got, you know, 3 Missfortunes, 3 Quinn, so you might not have them cards, so you might need to craft them. But yeah, it's a really fun deck. It works quite well together. The only disadvantage of this deck that I feel is that it struggles against units in the late game, in the sense that if they bring out like a powerhouse out, like a really big unit with like big stats, then you might have troubles to try and kill that. So you really want to try and finish the game off before that. But yeah, you're maybe I am thinking of changing some cards in here so that I can actually deal with the bigger units at the end. Maybe taking out Radiant Strike, maybe putting in some other spells to try and actually finish off big units. But no, let me guys know what you think of this deck. Like always, this deck description ID is in the description box below, so check that out, import it, change it, use the default, you know, do whatever you guys liked. Let me know in the comment section what you guys think of the deck. Would you change cards in? Would you take cards out, put cards in? What would you do with this deck? Or would you just run it as it is, because it works quite well right now? Yeah, let me know in the comment section. If you guys found this deck guide useful, check out the video that I've got while actually using this deck, so you actually get to see Missfortune and Quinn in action. So I'll link a copy of the video in the description box for you guys to check out. Yeah, let me know what you guys think about this deck. If you like this video and like these deck analysis, yeah, you can show support by liking the video, you know, the usual stuff, liking video, the follows, subscribing, all the usual jazz. So yeah, this is Suna with the Quinn Missfortune deck. I really like this deck. It's really fun, really fun deck, and so, hopefully you'll like it too. Alright, until next time guys, I'm going to be signing out. Peace.